All right, part F. You have 2 to the third plus 2 to the fourth. All right, this is a sum and not a product, so the product rule does not apply. So again, you would evaluate these individually. 2 to the third is 8, 2 to the fourth is 16, and 8 plus 16 is 24. All right, now we are going to add integers and variables together. So, or multiply an expression with integers and variables. So we want to multiply 2x to the third times 3x to the seventh. So you're going to multiply the integers like you normally would. 2 times 3 is 6. And then you're going to add your exponents. So that would be 6x to the 10th. All right, the rule for a power raised to a power is a to the m raised to the n power. You're going to multiply. That would be a to the m times n. For example, we want to simplify 2 to the fifth raised to the third power. We multiply, and that would be 2 to the 15th power. And again, that would be a big number, so we'll just leave it as 2 to the 15th. 5 to the seventh raised to the second power. Multiply 5 to the 14th. X to the second power raised to the fifth power is x to the 10th power. All right, if we have 3xy and all of that is raised to the second power, that means that exponent applies to the whole quantity. So you're going to square the 3, the x, and the y. So if you square 3, you get 9, x squared, y squared. Remember, exponents only apply to what is immediately in front of it. So in this case, the square only applies to the x and the y. Carry the 3 over into your answer, so that would be 3x squared, y squared. All right, in this case, you're going to raise everything inside the parentheses to the fourth power. So 2 to the fourth power means multiply 2 times itself 4 times, and you get 16. And then a power raised to a power you multiply, so that would be m to the 2 times 4, or m to the 8th, p to the 3 times 4, or p to the 12th. All right, so first thing we're going to do is determine whether our answer should be positive or negative. With this one, you'll use the exponent that's on the outside. So if you have an odd exponent and a negative inside your parentheses, you know that that is going to evaluate to a negative. So our answer is negative, but then we do 6 times 3, so that'll be negative 5 to the 18th. All right, let's do one more actually. Let's do negative 5 to the 6th squared. All right, so since we have an even exponent and a negative inside the parentheses, we know that this one will evaluate to a positive. So that's going to be a positive 5 to the 12th. All right, let's simplify again. 2/3 raised to the fifth power. That means everything inside the parentheses, even though it's a fraction, will be raised to the fifth power. So 2 to the fifth over 3 to the 5th. 2 to the 5th is 32, and 3 to the 5th is 243. All right, 1/5 to the 4th power means you'll do 1 to the 4th power over 5 to the 4th power. 1 times itself 4 times is 1. 5 times itself 4 times is 625. All right, m over n raised to the 4th power would be m to the 4th over n to the 4th. And let's do one more. X squared over y cubed, and that is raised to the 5th power. So a power raised to a power, you multiply. X to the 10th over y to the 15th. All right, so now let's use a combination of all the rules that we've talked about. So we want to simplify 2/3 squared times 2 cubed. All right, so we know 2/3 squared would be 4 over 9, and then we want to multiply that by 2 cubed, and 2 cubed is 8. So 4 over 9 times 8 over 1, that would equal 32 over 9. Let's try one more. 5x cubed times 5x to the 4th. We have like bases, so we will keep the base the same, and we add the exponent, so that's 5x to the 7th, and then you'll raise each term to the 7th power. 5 to the 7th, which is probably a really big number, so I'll leave it as 5 to the 7th, x to the 7th. And that was part B. All right, let's do some more. All right, let's see. Okay. 2x squared y cubed, and that is to the 4th power, times 3x y squared, and that is to the 3rd power. All right, so we'll look at this piece first. We're going to raise everything to the 4th power. So 2 to the 4th power is 2 times itself 4 times, and you get 16. A power raised to a power you multiply, so that'll be x to the 8th, y to the 12th. And then I'm going to multiply that by everything here gets raised to the 3rd power. So 3 to the 3rd power, or 3 times itself 3 times, is 27. X cubed, y to the 6th. All right, and then we'll multiply the integers. So 16 times 27 is 432. And then, so what I did was I'm going to multiply these numbers. And then a power raised to a power, you add. All right, so combine the x's together. 8 plus 3, that'll be x to the 11th. And 12 plus 6, that'll be y to the 18th. Let's try another one. Negative x cubed y, and this is squared, times negative x to the 5th, y to the 4th, and this is cubed. Since we have a negative inside the parentheses, we have to determine if it's going to be negative or positive. So since I have an even exponent and a negative inside the parentheses, this one will evaluate to a positive. This one I have an odd exponent and a negative inside the parentheses. This one will evaluate to a negative. And a positive times a negative equals a negative. So the final answer should be negative, or will be negative. All right, so let's evaluate this part first. and that'll be a positive x to the 6 y squared. And this one will be a negative x to the 15th y to the 12th. And we said the answer is negative, and you add the exponents, so x to the 21st and y to the 14th. All right, and then I think example 9 is the last example. Okay, so we want to find an expression that represents in appropriate units the area of each figure. So the first one is a rectangle, and one side measures 6x to the 4th and the other side measures 5x cubed. And we want to find the area. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So we will plug in the length, which is 6x to the 4th, and multiply that by the width, which is 5x cubed. And then multiply. You multiply your integers. 6 times 5 is 30, and then you're going to add your exponents. So that'll be 30x to the 7th. And we always give area in square units, so you'll say 30x to the 7th square units. All right, let's do the next one. The next one is a triangle. Okay. All right, so to find the area of a triangle, area is equal to 1/2 the base times the height. So that'll be 1/2 times the base measures 6m to the 4th, and the height is 3m to the 3rd. All right, so what I would do first is multiply and then take half of that, or divide it by 2. All right, so 6 times 3 is 18. Add the exponents, that'll be m to the 7th. And then I need to take half of that, which means divide it by 2. So your answer is 9m to the 7th square units.